These three people feel they are being re-victimized by the state once again, and this is after the abuse they say they suffered as children. They are also outraged by a new law that makes a settlement administrator a political appointee.
Any and every type of abuse that you can think of, physically, mentally, sexually, it was all going on there.
I didn't realize how many of us there were. I was shocked.
Several times, this man raped me forcibly.
3 alleged victims are now speaking out about the abuse they suffered as children being held in state custody.
I more or less came forward in hopes that the state would get educated about what happened and it would never happen to another young boy again.
In hopes that this would stop.
Nearly 2,000 claims have been made to the Youth Development Center Settlement Fund, established by the legislature to fairly evaluate and provide compensation to survivors of sexual and other abuse at state detention facilities. Chuck Miles was in 5th grade when he was sent to one of those facilities and says he endured years of abuse.
Sometimes after these incidents would occur, I would go in the corner of my little cell. I would ball up and shake and scream.
Corrine Murphy filed a lawsuit against the state 4 years ago, but is now seeking a settlement, thinking it would spare her from going to trial and sharing her pain.
I just wanted to be done. I thought it was going to be speedy, and it didn't turn out like that.
Daniel Padro was 14 when he was at the Youth Detention Center in Manchester.
That place was so bad that I ran away twice.
A law passed and signed by Governor Kelly Ayotte makes the administrator of the settlement fund a political position, appointed by the governor, something the former independent administrator says is wrong.
Never seen anything like it. I don't know why they hold so much power when they're the ones that we are actively going after or suing, but they're the ones in charge of all decision making.
These alleged victims say an independent administrator is necessary to make sure the decisions are fair and not based on political pressure.
That's like saying a criminal can pick his judge and jury and outcome.
What do you think of when the Attorney General's office and the governor's office says that they are going to carefully evaluate every case and be as fair and judicious as possible?
Oh my God.
The state is
terrible.
They're the criminals in this. They can say, we don't like this number.
When I hear that, I just hear, good luck.
There's also no clear answer as to how the state will afford to pay the pending claims, which could total $1.7 billion.
Everything keeps getting pushed back, pushed back, pushed back. The state just continues to victimize us.
They had the opportunity to shape us and mold us. And they didn't take it. They dropped the ball.
They basically took my childhood. They took my soul. They took any tools that should have been in my bag to make it in society, and then threw me out at the age of 18.
We asked the governor and the attorney general for an interview, and they both declined. The attorney general's office did provide a statement, which reads in part, the New Hampshire Department of Justice remains fully committed to a confidential, trauma-informed process that protects survivors' dignity while also safeguarding public resources. In studio, Alana Flood, WMUR News 9.